And when I'm not explaining to my intern exactly what R&B is, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Wash your hands, don't touch your face, wipe things down, clean up your space. When you cough and sneeze, do responsibly. If you feel you're getting ill, isolate at home and chill. No, you're not alone. Please pick up your phone and call 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Health 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Health Community Radio Station will provide you with more information. Say Rainier Avenue Radio. Your community radio station will provide you with more information. Rainier Avenue Radio.
What kind of nonsense conversation are we having here?
The Neon Ghost Show. The Neon Ghost Show. Right here on Rainier. What's it? Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Right about now.
Rainier Avenue Radio.world. I'm so tired. I have to pee.
This is your Rainier Avenue Radio.world community update on the Rally for Reparations.
Smells good, babe.
Affordable housing. Live on Rainier Avenue Radio. Saturday, July 24th, 2021. Noon to 2 p.m. Tune in as the Reverend Robert L. Jeffrey Sr., United Black Clergy, Black Lives Matter Seattle King County, NAACP, Japanese American Citizens League, MLK Jr. committee members, Bethany United Church of Christ, Councilmember Shama Suwant, and many local organizations rally to call for Seattle's political establishment to return land to New Hope Missionary Baptist Church and to fund urgently needed affordable housing. Watch on Rainier Avenue Radio's YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and find more info on our website, the Rally for Reparations, Unity, and Affordable Housing. Saturday, July 24th, 2021, noon to 2 p.m.
This is Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
You're listening to Heartbeat Radio. I'm your host, Cindi Bright. Heartbeat Radio is a conversation aimed to take the pulse of corporate America. Opportunities for people of color, we're getting lost in the shuffle of change. I'm that provocateur of change. The hearts of corporate America are addressed. Access and opportunities will be accelerated for all people. Through Heartbeat Radio, you will gain a deeper understanding of what is necessary for change. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Heartbeat Radio. I hope you can hear me well. We have a power outage at the station, so hopefully we can get through the show here. Thank you for joining us tonight. And we missed you last week. We didn't have a show because I was going through my own book launch, and Joy and I will be talking more about that. Tonight we have scheduled on the show a candidate for the Des Moines City Council. Her name is Soleil Lewis, although she is not signed on yet. So I heard from her earlier today that she got thank you, Jessica. She got my email with the sign-on data, so hopefully she's just running a couple minutes late. But I had invited her to come on because I don't know her. Let me just welcome in Joy Stanford. I should have introduced her in right away to come in with me. Hey, Joy. Oh, you have my book. You got it. You got it. Got it. I was just talking about Soleil that I had invited her on. I don't know her, and I don't even know.
I don't know her either, but she's pretty phenomenal. I believe I interviewed so many women of color, particularly Black women, for Opportunity Packs. I can't remember. It's been a minute. I've had a lot of things happening in the last week. So, but all of the women who have stepped up to run, we know, are just phenomenal and have depth. And people that want to serve our communities. So I hope she signs on in time to talk to us. That's what
I looked at some of the things that she was standing for. First off, I saw she had a lot of notable endorsements. So I was hoping that she would talk to us about
she does.
her endorsement. So that was really good that she got that. She appears to be, I know this is an unfair thing to say about Black people because we hold our age well, but she looks fairly young.
Oh,
so, yeah. So I thought that was an exciting thing to see when young people step up for office as well. So hopefully she is just running a little bit late. Anyhow, how was your week this week, Joy?
I just was running back from the job fair in Tacoma to be on with you. So crazy week, but wonderful weekend. That's what we should talk about. It's a weekend. And Cindi Bright's book signing and book launch. And then to know that we have another friend who's the published author too. It's just like, this is such incredible. I always pinch myself and say, whose life am I living that I know these just super intelligent, super women, Black women who are crushing racism and training people and doing all the things that I want to do. So your book is phenomenal. I just started it, so it's phenomenal. I'm skipping around because I wanted to read the 10 Commandments of the GOB first, which I know you said it amps up to that, but I was like, I'm reading that first. And I was just like, oh my, like you just don't know what your experience when you're in it until you read something like this and you're like, oh, that happened to me.
I've been getting a lot of feedback about the book. Yeah, that people are really like enjoying the candor of it, and the I saw that somebody took a picture of the 10 Commandments of the GOB and had it posted on LinkedIn with some of the paragraphs in it, and people were like, "Yep," like, and so my intention.
That's awesome.
My intention was to make sure that people could see themselves in the characters, or people that represent those characters in the first chapter, and then how those characters are the ones that are upholding. That's why chapter 2 is about the GOB.
I've already got my Karens from the first chapter. I am sure I have my Karens from all my jobs that I don't even have to read the chapter, and I can go that person, that person, that person. I got 3 Karens. So
well, I'm excited about it. There's been a lot of movement. First off, on Sunday, I collapsed because I was so exhausted from
Saturday. Yeah.
From Saturday, and the adrenaline that I had from it, and just the amount of work that goes into getting a book out is beyond what I can describe right now. But it's out, and so now. I didn't hear you, Joy.
You made it easy.
Oh, I made it look.
You didn't look like you did. Yeah.
Well, we had quite a turnout, didn't we? Like,
yes.
That every seat was full, and I saw that people were standing outside, and then I just got huge outreach over the weekend from people who were just so glad to be there and talk about what these issues are, and to have us as Black women explain and talk about what our experiences are. I think that the general public doesn't really get what we live through every day. And I think that many people like to marginalize our experience or punt it to be our problem. And so, some of the things that I have, particularly in the past year, and during the pandemic, I have just stopped being around the toxicity of people. And because we've been separated from it, I don't want to be back around those kind of people anymore. So one of the things that I really have been working on is, my own circle and the people that I know we can trust and work together with. And so, thank you, Christy. I'm excited that it's out, and that particularly to shine a light on women. And you heard me talk about us women, right? And the things that are going on with us women.
And I love how you did not hold back. You're like, and white women, there's a chapter for you.
The whole chapter. I want you to read it. I want to hear, look, I say in the book that was the most difficult chapter for me to write. It was. And
because you're a woman.
Well, because many of them helped me. There are many wonderful white women.
They were in the room on Saturday.
They were. And when I said, look around the room, and so the issue really is about discernment and being able to quickly discern who the right people are and who are not the right people to put into leadership positions, and the people that are blocking progress for other people. So, that has been my peeve, I guess. Those are the issues that I have worked on my entire career, is trying to move those mountains up. Now, thank you, Snow. I took a lot of lumps in corporate America to progress. Ooh, yes, I need those Amazon reviews. Thank you for that. I'm trying to get 100 reviews in the first 100 days, because that will help put me on a top seller list. Nice. And so I'm moving that mountain too. So thank you, Snow, for saying that, so that our audience can know that I would love to have your review.
People bought multiple books.
Yeah.
Saturday. It was okay, because I was like, I don't know if you knew that, because you were in a separate room signing, but I was in the room where the book was being handed, and people are like, no, can I have 5? Can I have 6? Can I have 12?
There were several of those people. And I was saying, and I will tell the public this, I have to sell 2,800 books to break even on what I've spent on getting this damn thing.
Easy. Come on, people. Buy the book. Buy the book. Buy the book.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to get that out there. And then our friend, who emceed the event was Aaron Jones, and Aaron Jones' book dropped today too. Let me tell you what was so interesting about Aaron. So I almost can't put it into words. She and I were actually texting today. She's in Cabo.
Mexico. Don't text her. She's in Mexico.
She texted me. So she texted me to tell me that her book was out, and we had an exchange about the similarities of our lives have basically been running.
That was so interesting. First of all, you guys have way too many errands in your life. That's never, and that's not bad. I mean, that's good, but you just have this amount of errands in your life. And then to know, like, church home and pastors and people that you guys were all connected with were some of the same people that she was connected with from not in the same circle. It was so cool to hear her talk about that.
I thought so too. How we really came to know a lot of those details is because I sent her the promo to the book, so she got to read my son's foreword. And then Aaron, that's the other Aaron. I've got 2 other Aarons in my life. My son Aaron wrote a pretty powerful foreword about his mother and his experiences and him trying to figure out his life and after basketball, and how we ended up buying tickets to go to Hillsong back in New York. I remember that really well, that, and then, Pastor Judah comes back and was talking about, we can't be where we are today without the sacrifice and leadership of the people and that go before us. And so, the words I use in my book are about, our ancestors are literally screaming for us to do something about all of this stuff, because our families have all lived through this horror, and nothing has changed yet. And so that was kind of the, I had tears in my eyes when I read Aaron's foreword, and then he cited, I don't know if many people got it, but did you know that he was referencing Tupac in his foreword? So when he talked about the pride in the Panther.
Yeah.
Okay. And when he said that some people knew when he said that he wanted, he wanted people to hear the book, not from the ambitions of a writer, Cindy, which is the Cindy that's in the gym screaming and cussing referees out, but from the Cindy that stands for changes. And so I thought that was pretty
And cool. You're not the only mom. Of course, I never did get a red card on the soccer field, but I did do my fair share of yelling at the coach, at the refs, at football. So you're not the only mom, Cindy. You're not the only mom.
Well, I think I might be the only mom who's actually been kicked off of an outdoor basketball court. I think I hold the trophy for that, getting kicked out.
Okay, I'm not even going to comment on that.
Court. Well, hey. And by the way, let me just tell everybody, my son just got selected and hired as the head coach for Interlake High School's men's basketball program. So that's really cool that he's going back into basketball. Yes.
I'm so excited. I mean, he went to Bellevue High, didn't he?
Yeah, he interviewed for that too.
Okay, well, I'm kind of glad he didn't get that one. Not like that school. So I'm glad Interlake got him. Wow!
He got Interlake, yeah. So I'm glad about that. It just feels like this book is out. He's back into the basketball world. So just hoping some big changes are forthcoming. Hey, let's talk politics for a second. Let's talk about the fact that, I'm still, apparently we don't have Soleil.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so sad. Okay.
Yeah. Let's talk about the fact that the ballots have dropped. And let's also talk about the fact that Senator Joe Wynn will be on in the second half, about 7:40 p.m. And I'm really glad we're having him on because he really needs to be visible. He has challenged Dow Constantine, who is I think like a 20-something year. He's a career politician. And so I found that really interesting. So I can't wait to see and hear from Senator Wynn about that whole, his process and how he feels about things. And so we really want the community to hear about his campaign. But ballots are out. And did you get your voting done yet?
Nope, I haven't laying out. We're going to do it as a family. My son's got a wedding this weekend. So he said when he comes back Sunday night or Monday night, we'll sit down and do them. We have till August 3rd, everyone. August 3rd, 8 p.m. So get those ballots in. But yeah, we don't have, I don't think as much as y'all over there in King County have to vote on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we do have some pretty interesting port races. I just was meeting with Elizabeth Pugh. Shout out to my emerged sister, Elizabeth Pugh, who's running for port down here in Tacoma. There's some other folks. I think, I believe Ann Artman has a primary. If I'm not, and I think we talked to her. Didn't we have her on?
Yeah.
Did we have her on? Yeah. So there's some women down here that I think, I always tell people, if you don't know your candidate, then call the candidate. I had my phone number on my website when I was running. Those are some of the best conversations I had because they were from people who didn't know who I was, Cindi. And so how else are you going to get to know someone than call them and ask them? And I want to say thank you to all those people who called me and just asked me point blank.
I took calls late at night too for voting. I remember vividly a group of women called. It was like 10:30 at night and they were apparently, I just answered the phone. I didn't know who it was. Well, they were trying to discern some things. And so they put me on speakerphone and they started asking me a lot of questions. And at first
Kathy. Yeah.
At first I didn't know what they were really getting at. And I finally asked them, asked, could they just be candid with me and just ask what they really want to know? And so then they started really cutting to the chase they were trying to find out, because they saw something that showed that I was a person of faith. And so they thought that I was one of the right-wing evangelical. And so I had to correct them about what the real gospel is and what people who understand the gospel is about the love of God. And so I educated them at 11 o'clock at night and they were so grateful for that. So it's,
sometimes those are some of the best conversations we have as candidates is those kind of conversations. And it's even, for me, it was better even if somebody thought they didn't have the same ideology as me. So maybe I'm a Republican or a moderate or an independent who just wants to find out more about you, the candidate with the D behind your name. And then it comes to find out we have more in common than you thought. And you're like,
this is why Heartbeat Radio is so important, because we are putting our voices can't get heard. I mean, you can't get to enough doors
right
for people to hear you. You can't the candidate forms and all the things that the political people do is not what the general people know. And so general people are reading those atrocious ballots, or what do you call them? Those ballot books?
The voter pamphlet. The voter pamphlet.
Yeah.
Where you only have 100 words.
So
you're only allotted 100 words.
So you can't get a good read that way. And then the other thing that was interesting that I remember as a takeaway is that the way that the names are listed on the ballot. And so people perceive that the top name is the person that has to go into that seat. And so, and it's not. I got a lot of calls about that. And so people needed to have some clarity about that.
Yeah.
One of our audience is asking the question, even though it's not up on the screen yet, but they're asking, what do you think when someone says they vote with their purse? I assume that means that they're putting money behind the candidates that they want to have in office.
Exactly, but that vote doesn't count. Because even the person with the most money sometimes doesn't win.
Yes, I'm interpreting that to be that, look, you can go right onto the PDC, which is what I spent the majority of the afternoon doing today, is going through the Public Disclosure Committee and looking at some of these different races and seeing how much money each candidate has they raised, because money controls outcomes. And so I think that's what her comment means. And so that was another reason why I wanted Senator Wynn to come on, because I looked at the difference between how much money he's brought in and how much his opponent, and the opponent is the engine, part of the engine. So I just find it all fascinating to watch.
It didn't matter. I think I raised money in my race and I still didn't win.
Yeah, well, you were running
what is the second?
Highly red area.
Race in that.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit, Joy.
Race played a part in that. Absolutely played a part in that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not about how much money you raise. Sometimes it's just about, like you said, the engine behind what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of folks that are coming first time out the gate, new candidates, and they're speaking the voice of the people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry.
It's okay.
With the voice of the people. And I think that's what's, I won't say it's scaring the incumbents, but it's definitely the incumbents stand up and take notice.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Are you ever going to run again?
Today? No. That's a big question, Cindy. I would say I like around now and supporting and uplifting and amplifying and giving space for candidates, like we're doing with this platform, for those candidates behind us.
Mm-hmm.
I said this to someone else the other day. Cindy and I ran in 2018. There was maybe 4 or 5 of us.
Mm-hmm.
Now we fast forward 3 years, 37, 41 women of color. There's way more women of color, but Black women, there's like 37 Black women running for office.
Wow.
Municipal off year, so municipal seats. Look, Kathy said you're running again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Cindy's running again. But
I don't, I never say never, but
I don't say that.
I've made it clear on a couple things. Number one, when I ran, I wasn't running just to run. At that time, there was very little, if any, Black women voices in the House or the Senate. So I was running to get a voice in the Senate or the House.
Right.
The House has Black people in it now, and we have at least one in the Senate. So my desire at that time was truly about advancing the lives of brown and Black people. So now that those seats are getting filled, the burr under my set, my book is addressing corporate America. So I have a broader itch And so I have said, if I ever do run again, I would run for a congressional seat where I'm in the Washington, D.C., and I'm helping deal with things on a...
She said, there is no off year. You're right, Jessica. I'm sorry. You are right, sister. There is no off year. No, I think that's fabulous, Cindi. Congressional, yes. You have way bigger platform, way bigger stage, much more power behind what you're trying to do and accomplish. So
yeah,
we've got Marilyn Strickland there. Auntie Maxine is there. I mean, we've got some powerhouse women that are there, but we need some more women from Washington State. I think
we need disruptors, because there aren't enough disruptors. And so there are a lot of Democrats, but there are not a lot of disruptors. And so the game back there is about who's going to line up behind what they're told to do by, I have these mixed views about Nancy Pelosi, but, look, we need to get people. I thought I was too old to run. I am 57 now, but hell, we got 80-year-olds in office. So I'm thinking, all right, this could be something, but we really do need more of the AOCs. And
yes, I was just going to say,
yeah, we need more
Ariana Presley. Yes.
We need more of those type of folks, because if we don't send disruptors back to Washington, D.C., the same old stuff is going to keep getting regurgitated. And so, so that will be Snow says we'll see you in D.C. D.C. is not quite ready for Cindi Bright yet, but that is right.
I love that. I love that, Kathy. I love that. Yes. Yes.
So I just really, this is that is another interesting what Kathy just said, because I think this is Patty Murray's last run. And so her seat could actually come open in a couple of years. Now, the way that the institution runs is they've already planned succession on that.
Exactly.
So, that's the whole.
Where's our disruptor?
Yeah. So the disruptor, if I were to do that, I would totally need, all the preparation and funding and get people behind you.
Yeah.
I think I've pissed off corporate America with my book, so I'm not quite sure that they're going to write me checks to get elected into office. But if I'm disrupting the system, and so the things that I call for in my book are things that they're just going to roll their eyes and think, who does this whatever fill in the blank thinks she is. And I'm going to tell them who I am, because what I'm suggesting in this book is not far-fetched. They are issues and systems and processes that need to be demolished, and they need to disrupt how the type of functions, like I call for the removal of HR out of the companies, because HR is not helping brown and black people at all. They are they're nothing but a gatekeeping function.
So what do you suggest putting in there if there's no HR?
I suggest that the what is necessary in HR is the operations. So the, employee benefits, I call it the back office stuff that has to get done.
The benefits administrator, the recruiter.
What I suggest is that corporate America start investing, cutting out that overhead money that they're spending on all of those HR people, and they start standing up brown and black businesses to do that work and to help solve it. And that solves several issues, because their issue that they have right now of brown and black people not wanting to come back into the workplace.
Right.
And women are leaving disproportionately, they can solve some of those things by helping stand up businesses and help people to be able to just run businesses from their home and solve those things for corporate without having to be in those toxic environments and without having to go through the back gatekeeping in order to have access to anything. So, because I'm calling for transparency and pay, and I'm not the salary. I'm showing how money is actually being made in these companies. And so they're going to fight to keep brown and black people out of that.
Yep.
And so, I'm calling for a completely revolution on how business is actually done. And so those are the conversations I'm starting to have now, and we'll be having them across the country. And in fact, I heard back from Revolution Books today in New York City, and I'm scheduled to talk with them tomorrow. We have to take a quick station identification break, and then we'll be back. We'll pick this back up, and we'll introduce Senator Nguyen in. So we'll be right back.
So black businesses, assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yo.
Here with the Rainier Avenue Radio Traffic Update. You can listen to us in your car 24/7 anytime by downloading the free TuneIn app. Once you do, search Rainier Avenue Radio. And remember, do not curse out your fellow drivers. This has been your Rainier Avenue Radio Traffic Update.
This is your Rainier Avenue Radio.world community update on the Rally for Reparations, Unity, and Affordable Housing. Live on Rainier Avenue Radio, Saturday, July 24th, 2021, noon to 2 p.m. Tune in as the Reverend Robert L. Jeffrey Sr., United Black Clergy, Black Lives Matter Seattle-King County, NAACP, Japanese American Citizens League, MLK Jr. committee members, Bethany United Church of Christ, Councilmember Shama Suwant, and many local organizations rally to call for Seattle's political establishment to return land to New Hope Missionary Baptist Church and to fund urgently needed affordable housing. Watch on Rainier Avenue Radio's YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and find more info on our website, The Rally for Reparations, Unity, and Affordable Housing. Saturday, July 24th, 2021, noon to 2 p.m.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Ito po ang PhilAm Radio, programang Pilipino para sa mga Pilipino saan man kayo naroroon.
PhilAm Radio tuwing Martes, 1:00 ng hapon, dito sa Seattle, Washington.
Pakinggan ninyo ang PhilAm Radio sa internet. Rainier Avenue Radio.world. At kami po ang inyong mga lingkod, Kuya Bert Kawili, Emma Heron at
Manny Panganiban.
PhilAm Radio.
1, 2, get down! What's up, big and little homies? This is Masvita Maraire, host of Seattle Sports Weekly on Rainier Avenue Radio.world, your one-stop shop for Seattle sports. We cover preps, we cover college, we cover pro, we cover it all. Huskies, Mariners, Seahawks, Garfield, South, Roosevelt, Metro, King County. This is where you want to listen to for all the sports that's happening in Seattle. Seattle Sports Weekly on Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Do you want to reach out to the Vietnamese community in Seattle? Just advertise in Người Việt Tây Bắc, that is Northwest Vietnamese News, the longest running Vietnamese language newspaper in our region. Go to nvnorthwest.com.
This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not meeting Mrs. Jones in that cafe for a chat and nothing else, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
That up the sacks, I favor black businesses, assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yo.
Welcome back to Heartbeat Radio. This is your host, Cindi Bright. This evening, we were scheduled to have a candidate on Soleil Lewis for the first half. I'm not sure what happened, so I apologize to the audience for that faux pas because we have pushed the show into her district, hoping that her voters would see us at her. So, but we will have Senator Joe Nguyen on in about 10 minutes. He can pop in, and we really want to hear from him. So I'm just going to pick back up where we left off, Joy, because you've done a great job. I don't do the greatest job holding up my book, and I actually have it hardcover now too. So I did get my hardcover one in.
Oh, that's what I want. I want the hardcover.
I have some. I'll give you one.
Yeah, I told Erin when her book, I was like, I don't want to order this if there's a hardcover. She's like, get that one and don't worry about the hardcover. It's coming. So
it's coming. So
and I'm telling you, I'm like, I started reading that 10 Commandments of the GOB, and I was just like, holy moly.
Well, it's so funny because I can't. I have one for you too, Jessica. Okay, I'm hardcover. I can't gauge the book anymore because I've been so immersed in it.
Right.
But I can't tell if it's so. I had all these test readers read it for me and tell me what they thought, and so I was like, okay, this information that I have. Okay, Gwen, we have hardcovers coming
for everyone.
For everyone. So that's why and then the part, there's a whole process that you have to do to get the books printed, and oh my God. And then, it was quite a process, and the printing and the distribution and how many weeks it takes to get this and that, like just trying to figure all that out, was, something that I can actually help people with if they wanted to do it. Kathy just said, I'm excited to put your book in the cocoa-free diverse little libraries in Walla Walla. Yay!
Oh, good!
You may not want to have the kids around. I mean, there are a few swear words in that book, just so you know, Kathy. I did say some things in there that I felt I needed to say from, you heard me at the event on Saturday. You know when I get riled up about stuff, how I say it. So, yeah.
I was a little surprised. I was like, oh, she just said a bad word.
It was, and I saw the look on somebody's face when I was talking about my trial. When I was talking about the trial and what went on there, that was a very intense time. And to just, now I feel like I'm past it. And I feel like that my writing the book helped heal.
I was just going to ask you that. Was it a cathartic exercise to write this book?
Yes, it was. It was painful. I actually say in one of the chapters that I was actually crying as I was writing that particular part because the emotion was pouring out of me when I really dug into the things that were done. And it really, the core of it is betrayal by somebody who's your friend or you thought was your friend.
Friend.
Yes. And, that has happened far too many times in my life that I've had friends in my life that turn on me on a dime, and it's always for a man or for money. And so the behaviors that brings out in women is disgusting. And so, people don't know. I've been asked, I can't tell you how many times as an adult, how come you're still single? How come you're single? Like I have an intelligent answer. I just am. But if I'm truthful with myself, when you have been betrayed, I only told one story about one woman. That has happened in my life more than 3 times where I've had white women friends who decided that the man that I had is somebody they wanted, even though they were married. I have so many stories about the behaviors that I just can't. I had to just catch myself because I can't swear on air. I can't hang with those people anymore. I can't hang with that. So I kind of pulled back. I just pulled back, and I don't put myself out there as much as I probably should. And
do you feel like it's because of where we live? Because a lot of my opinions are based on me moving from California and moving here to Washington. God. Okay, you know where I'm going with this.
Oh my God.
And all of a sudden,
let me just say,
kind of environment where you're like, I don't know what women I can have in my inner circle.
Do you know how many women I've heard say, you can't sit, this is not a town for single women, and it certainly is not a town for single Black women. It just isn't. I'm so disappointed at so much stuff that I have seen and witnessed, and I'm just like, I just can't mess with them either. Like
I told my sisters, don't move here.
Yeah, it's just not a scene. And
go ahead and move to Arizona and find yourself a retiree on the golf course and call it.
Hell no, I don't want no old one. I'm not looking for
young retiree. But no, but I do feel like it took. I was just telling somebody this today, a lady that I didn't even know we were talking about living here, and she said she'd been here 40 years. I said I've been here 23. And I said, it was very hard to move here and leave my tribe of women and move. And that was small but large. Like I had a larger group to I can reach out to move here and have no one. It was very lonely and hard. And then when I did finally get my tribe of women, the ones that weren't really like down with having close female friends, you could tell those women because they were like, they don't have nothing to do with it.
I had a taste of it last week. Literally, I went to Napa for my birthday, and
that's right.
And I got to see some of my friends, including one of my really good friends. She's white. She's married to a black guy, and so when I get around her, it was just an interesting experience because I hadn't seen her in a while. But I'm so used to how white women are here in Seattle that to go to California and then be around her, it was like almost like a sticker shock. Like it was almost like, because she was just so down and she's so real about, and that's not how Seattle is. And we forget how when I came in 94.
And I came in 98.
So, and I just remember back then thinking WTF, right? Like nobody's friendly. You can't, and I'm from military towns. So military towns are much more inclusive because people are from all over the world. And so I was used to knowing my neighbors and socializing. And
that was me. I'm not even military. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know your neighbors? I don't want to know my neighbor. I don't want to know my neighbor. I don't need to know my neighbor. I'm like, yes, you do, because if someone's stabbing you to death, you want to be screaming. You want them to come running,
Well, we are from the same area, Joy. You're from San Mateo. And so I'm from Vallejo. And so I'm from a Navy town. And so it was just, all of that is just interesting to me.
I think that's why we connect so well and we're so close. It's because we came from that and we came here and we're like, what's happening here?
It's definitely a sticker shock. Yeah. It's definitely a shock.
Just a little bit. So yeah. But I am glad you wrote this. Tell me the last tough process you had in writing this book. What was the very last tough process, like hurdle you had to get over?
Well, I would say that it was before you hit the send button for after the editing, because it went through several rounds of editing, and I would wake up in the middle of the night, literally in sweat, like just panicked, because I would say something in the book, and then I'd wake up in the middle of the night, like, is that the right way to say it, or is that too offensive? Like, let me just relook. And so I would call my editor, like I talked to her every single day, and I would say, let's take that sentence out, like, or I just didn't want, I didn't want to offend people, but I want it to be truthful. Right. And so, I recognize that I am incredibly direct and candid, and not everybody can handle that. I recognize that I have a bad mouth and people are put off by that. And sometimes I care and sometimes I don't care. And so, but I was trying hard. I want people to read the book. And so I remembered a comment, I was coached many years ago in my 30s about, like, Cindi, do you want to be heard or do you want to be effective? And so I was constantly struggling with how to be effective and be heard at the same time and telling the truth. So
see, your editor said this was the best anti-racist book she'd ever read, let alone worked on. Thank you, Jessica. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've been telling everyone. I finally got a picture on my Facebook. I stole your picture, so I'm going to push it out to all of my friends who I've worked with and who I am around, in my circle of women that I'm around, because I think this book is for every woman out there, whether they're in corporate America, a nonprofit, working their own business. It doesn't matter. It's going to be important for every woman, I think, to read this book.
Look at that question. Are we
going to bring change without offending? Oh, it's a thin line. Yes, Gwen.
Yeah, that is exactly right. That is exactly right.
Yeah.
I'm just checking. I'm trying to see if I've heard back. Something's going on with the show tonight here. I'm trying to see if I've heard back.
What's happening, people.
Let me see if I've heard back. Okay.
Don't try to come on later because we already got folks scheduled. We're jam-packed.
So I just got a note. He is just running a few minutes late. So let me just reply.
Come on.
Oh, my God.
Hurry up. We only got an hour.
Yes, he's on a tight schedule tonight, he said. So she said he'll be about 5 minutes late.
Snow is right. Can you be heard, and can you still be effective if you're not offending? Right now in our world that we live, I believe we have to speak truth. And if that's offensive to you, check why it's offensive to you.
Mm-hmm.
Check yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Not me as the person saying it.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lady ask me today, we talked about many things, but she says, I'm under the impression, obviously she was white, that racism doesn't exist anymore. And so then I went, and she was like, I'm going to take that look as you don't have that same opinion. And I went, no, because you're white and privileged.
Well, and the way that life is here in this country, it's so normalized to them that they don't see it because it's not their life.
Right.
And so they think everything's, look, remember when Barack Obama got elected and we had to listen to all the SHYT about how, see, we told you, we got a black person in. So what are you guys complaining about?
We're done. We've voted in a black president. No, we're not done. Our black brothers and sisters are still getting killed in their own home, walking down the street, driving down the street, renting an apartment, sleeping in their own dorm. Come on, people. It still exists. So I had to give her examples. She wanted to know what my story was and what examples I had. So I gave her 3, and she just sat there. She goes, I don't have anything to say. And she goes, other than I need to check my privilege and understand my privilege. And she said her son told her, sometimes you don't know, Mom, but you are offensive. You are saying things that are offensive and racist. And I said, well, own that. You need to own that and then do better.
Mm-hmm. That's what we're asking is for people to do better.
That's better. Easy. Yeah. I love the person who asked you the question Saturday. Like, what's one thing you would want white women to do? In the back, me and Dave. I just leaned over to Dave and I went, could you make space for the women?
Mm-hmm.
Could we be heard? Don't put your thumb down and try to hold us down. We want to be heard just like everyone else, but make space. How about you step back and make space?
Mm-hmm.
This is why I loved LinkedIn, because
I will tell you, like, one of the reasons why I really wanted to acknowledge the good white women, there are many, but there is one in particular. Her name is Karen Fleshman. She's been on Heartbeat before. She has a organization called Racy Conversation. And that woman has gone and is currently just going to bat for me. And she is making space and making things happen for me because I can't, as Black women, we can't get inside. We need the white people who have the access to help bring us in. And she's not offended. Like, it was just interesting. I was speaking with her last night and where she's helping me with some stuff. So I offered her to be a part of it, just like I did my editor. I brought Aaron along with me. Both of those 2 white women have said to me, like, first off, my editor said, no one's ever included me. Of all the books that I've edited, you're the only author who has actually included me in part. She drove up here for my party from Portland. And so she and I had a lot of conversations about inclusivity, about how Black women are used to working more collaboratively because we don't have the privilege that they have. And then Karen Fleshman is literally going into organizations and speaking about me and like she's creating opportunities for me. And so, those kind of behaviors, that is the unusual. It's unusual because when there is money to be grabbed, it is very rare you see a white woman want to bring a Black sister along with her. And so Karen actually asked me today, this is really interesting. She has Robin DeAngelo. She's going to reach out to Robin DeAngelo on my behalf, the author of White Fragility. And I said, oh, she might not want to take a meeting with me because I kind of address her in my book too, because she is a woman, a white woman who is profiting off of the backs and the pain of Black women. And so I called for her in my book that I don't hate her for making money, but she needs to do better because she has access. And so if you have that is simply what we're asking for, is for people to do better and start making, there's enough, I just don't get the women who are grabbing every penny for everything and will kill, like step up over their own mother's graves to get
to do what they need to do. Yeah.
Like, look, I've been very flippant about the whole dating scene, but I have said, I remember many years ago, I was debating, we have Senator
Joe
here, so we're going to stop this and let's introduce Senator Wynn, and because we just have a few minutes left, so let's welcome him in. Senator Wynn,
thank you so much. Good to see both of you. Cindy, congratulations on your book launch. I saw that it was fantastic. Joy, always great to see you as well.
I know.
I love your sign in the back.
You know who I got that from, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for joining, Hillary. Senator. We know you had a slam schedule today.
Oh, no, always a pleasure. I'm a big fan of yours. I'm so excited to see both of you as well. I didn't realize Joy was going to be the co-host, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is going to be fantastic. So.
Yes, we need people. I reached out to your campaign again today because we need people to see and hear from you because our ballots are in front of us. We need you in front in this. We need you to pull this race off. And so
we will. We're going to shock some folks.
I was panicking today. I'm like, he's got to be visible we're pushing this out into King County so that all of your constituents can see and hear from you. Let's just quickly talk about your decision to challenge Dow Constantine. Why are you doing that? Help us to understand more about your campaign.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. And honestly, we're at a moment where we demand leaders who will fight with an urgency to actually get things done. And I appreciate the incumbents 12 years in office, but at this moment when we're trying to get past the pandemic, racial inequities, we need leaders who will step up and fight for our communities. And we saw it in the legislature. Over the past few years in the legislature, we passed historic policies on things that people have been fighting for decades to accomplish. And a lot of that is because we now have the most diverse legislature in the history of Washington state. The people who are closest to the pain are now in power to get things done. And that's the difference between having a leader with a lived experience who will fight with an urgency to do it. And we know a lot of the things that we've passed, we've known have been issues for a long time. Basic needs programs, anti-poverty efforts, criminal justice, police accountability. We've known for a long time that these are issues. But just now, when the people who are impacted by policies who are there are addressing these issues as well. So whether it's housing and affordability, whether it's homelessness, whether it's climate change, transit, economic opportunities, all these things are done at the county level. And candidly, I had folks, asking me, why would you do something so audacious? And it's like, because my community has been neglected for so long. We've been ignored for so long. We need to have somebody who is willing to step up and do the work. And that's why I'm here. I just want to do the work. I want to help people. I'm not trying to further my career. I just want to get things done on behalf of the community that put me here in the first place.
Oh, that's so awesome.
We need Joe Wynn in office. We need him in. That is our fear too. I know you know this, Senator Wynn, that we sit back and watch. I hate to describe it this way, but the career politicians are the people that love to sit in the seat and look out for their money and protect their power and all that stuff. And things are not happening for marginalized communities. And so, I don't have bad things to say about Dow. Personally, I don't know him, but it's just time for change.
It's just time for change. And that's really what it is. And look, we've seen studies after studies. I fought, one of my first things that I worked on in the legislature was I-1000. So for folks who don't know, it's basically allowing for equity in the contracting that we have in Washington state. We know that it's unjust. And that was one of the biggest things that I felt was that talent is universal, but opportunity is not. And when we don't have systems that actually try to uplift and fix these things, they won't ever happen because the people in power perpetuate that system. And unless you break that cycle, you can never get it done. So that's me. That's me to the T. That's why I supported Joy. That's why I supported other folks, is because I'm a fighter. And I think there are a lot of other fighters out there that want to create change as well. And that's how we're going to do this together, is if we uplift one another, because I believe that great leaders do more than just good things. They empower other people to be successful as well. So that's what it means when you have people with lived experiences in power. They open the door for other people. They don't just hoard that power. And that's what we need.
Amen.
Senator, look, when you get in office, the moves that we got to make around even the King County Council, we've got to get rid of these damn gatekeepers that are, and I'm not going to use their names on air today, but when you're elected, I will. And these folks have got to go. I mean, they are only moving marginally through massive public outcry, not because their heart is in the issues. They just do what they have to do. And then the engine goes behind them and propels them into another term of office.
The system is broken, I will just say. The system, and that's why we do things the way that we do as well. We work with community. We do direct outreach. We talk to folks, even if they aren't donors. We talk to folks, even if they aren't politically powerful, because we know that they will be impacted by policies.
Amen.
My office, we take 20 to 30 meetings per day during the legislative session. I have a dedicated team of people who are just making sure that my emails are being checked so that I'm addressing them as needed as well, right? Like,
I can attest to that.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, right. And that's what was wild to me, that when I got to the legislature or even public office, people would say, oh, wow, you came prepared to this meeting and you understand the issues in advance. And I'm like, I thought you were supposed to know how you do your job, right? Like my first year, people said, how did you pass all these bills? I figured it out because that's how you behave when you're a person of color that's used to working twice as hard for half as much. You got to do the work. You always have to do the work.
Joe, tell me, what's the biggest challenge you believe the county executive's going to be facing when you're elected? What's the biggest issue?
Homelessness is by far the greatest issue that we're facing right now. And what's interesting is that there's a lot of reasons for why people become homeless. A lot of them are very systemic, right? And we can't just tackle it after they become homeless. I believe we need to turn the spigot off, help people stay in their house. It is 3 to 5 times cheaper to keep somebody housed than it is to take them out of homelessness. We also need to expand the variety of options to keep people housed right now as well. Hotels are great. They're kind of expensive. We can also do tiny homes. We can do temporary shelters, things like that, where we just need to get people in a safe and stable spot. And I visited a facility called Sound Foundations this morning, where they're building tiny homes for the area. And what they're saying is that they've seen a 68+% positive placement afterwards, meaning people who are temporarily in these shelters for about 6 months, they're tiny homes, then they become permanent housing. And it's not even like low-income housing that you're thinking. It's like, there's a gentleman that lost his job.
Yeah,
exactly. They were able to retrain, become a welder, get another job, and they just get market. I mean, like, we just need to help people get off of the streets. And obviously there's going to be behavioral, mental health, and substance use disorder as well. But we need to be able to ensure that the folks who can get off the streets can, the folks who need much more services can. Right now, we're waiting for it to be too late before we jump in to help.
Awesome.
One of our listeners just said, so flipping refreshing. It is so true. It is so true. We are so glad to have you as a candidate. We are so behind you. I'm sorry to hound your folks today.
Thank you.
You represent the color of courage. And the color of courage is my book that is causing for disrupting these systems that are not allowing brown and black people to prosper. And so when you win, I'm going to bring a bottle of Syrah and find 10 minutes on your calendar. And we're going to strategize about how we're going to do all this stuff collectively to make sure our communities are taken care of. That is a fact.
I want to say thank you for bringing your lived experience to elected office. I know, I can see, I've watched you. That's what's propelling you and pushing you. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for doing this and putting your time instead of flying into space today and going to the moon. Thank you for actually caring about our citizens. The ballots are out, everybody. So on your ballots, when you're in King County, we need to vote Joe win.
Senator Wynn, thank you so much for coming on. We are out of time on the show. Thank you for getting your voice out there. We will push the show for you tonight and make sure that people see you.
I appreciate it. Thank
We'll
you.
have you back. Don't worry. We'll have you back.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good
Have a
evening.
good night. I appreciate it.
Okay. Next up is Joy. Thank you for joining tonight. Next up is the encore of the Gumbo. Please get your copy of The Color of Courage, Crushing Racism in Corporate America by your host, Cindi Bright. I'll look forward to seeing you guys all next week. Good night, everybody.
Up in Saks, I favor black businesses. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yo.